Okay, I need to let this run just a little bit longer. So we're going to let it run into the winter and everything. And this thing will get built. It's probably getting close. All they've done is brought the asphalt. It's not that close, actually. 760 tons of coal. So pretty easy. And then, of course, we've got this supply, too, which will then feed that one. So I think we're probably good on coal until this gets built. We're probably fine. These guys can't export anything because they're full up. And then this has now had time to completely fill. So we're really good on that. I think I can probably turn the exports up higher. And so this will, again, allow our power plants to work at a higher capacity, which means that we're going to be pulling in the coal a little bit faster than we were before, and allows them to produce, to juice the whole place up at about 70% now, I guess. And then we're demoing our power lines so we can go ahead and build those. So I will see you guys in a second. Enjoy your time lapse, and we'll come back when all these things are done. Okay, so we've now got all the resources and stuff being delivered to the repair station that's right next to where our crop train needs to get in here, right? This repair station now has access to resources. We're down in money a little bit from before because as I showed several things in the time lapse, and I'll go through them now, I had the trains go ahead and start buying electronics from the border because I noticed that my population has under 50% have a television, which is affecting my ability to, you know, propaganda and everything. So I wanted to get that up a little bit too. So I need more electronics. I'm clearly not making enough, which makes sense because that little factory out there is not enough for this many people. So until we can expand that out, we're going to have to buy a little bit. So I went ahead and did that. I did that, providing for that station over there by building this distribution center over here. So it has the exact same configuration as the other one that's providing all the resources to my repair centers. This one has exactly the same, except, no, it gives another 20 connections. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace these two connections down here. And we're going to make sure that this place here is getting loaded with what it needs. And this repair center is being managed by this place. That's going to free up a connection for this. So I can now go over and remove this West Warehouse from this connection. And that's going to be important because we are about to see another orphanage be done. All right. It's about to be done, about to be finished. Right. Only a few days left here. Now, this does not have access to water and sewer and all that stuff right there. So I'm actually going to pause this with about 100. Normally I don't like to keep it, like, cut it super close because I always mess it up. So I think maybe we'll go in and just say 80 work days, 70 work days. Let's just like call it, let's just stop it at 65, whatever. I don't want it to complete yet. So we need to get this orphanage up and running. We need to give this access to sewer and water and all that stuff. And there we go. We need to get that done. So in order to do that, we're going to come over to my water treatment plant that's right here. This obviously doesn't serve as a substation, so it's not going to provide water here. I also would like to probably just make sure everything's reinforced with water over here too. So we're going to go into our plumbing area. We're going to go to a water substation and find a place over here that can hit everything. And I think this is probably pretty good. So we'll place it kind of right over here. It's, yeah, maybe even over next to the statue is good enough. I think that's probably good enough. We'll place it next to the statue over here. So let's go. We'll flip it over, put the walking path on this side, and we'll just call it right there. All right. Now, what we want to do here, if I go underground, so somebody's left a comment for me, and I can't verify this. I can't see any documentation anywhere in game, out of game, even the official wiki. Nowhere in any official documentation does it mention that there is a flow limit on pumping stations. Where the hell did it go? Over here. So remember, like, do you guys remember the water problem we just had, right? We're currently able to handle a lot more water right now. We're up to now 215. It picked right up there, like 215, really briefly, okay? So if I head over here, we can see where is this coming from, right? Well, we've got two pumps now. There's a pumping station here, and there's the old pumping station that we have here. And we can see that the flow rate that they're pushing through is about the same, despite the fact that we've got two wells hooked up to this one now, okay? Now, that could just be a needs-based thing because this doesn't need very much, right? It's not really needing to produce very much. But I was told in my comment section, and I have no idea where this is at, so if somebody could please link me an official source where this is, not some random person on the Steam forums that said this, and then another person on a different forum, on a different post on Steam says a completely different number, right? That's not official. I want, where is it located where this thing is supposedly having 130 cubic meters per day of limitation? Because that means that the big pumping station is limited to basically a single big pipe going into it. That seems a bit silly to me. There's a reference on the wiki that claims that if it's pumping to a lower elevation, that its flow rate is increased, and if it's pumping to a higher elevation, then the flow rate is decreased. So that's mentioned specifically. And if I was to take a look at my tool for measurement, my pump is located at about 14.9, and it is pumping to a location over here at 15. So it is pumping to a higher elevation. Therefore, it is going to have a reduced flow rate, right? And I could have manipulated the terrain ahead of time had I known this, right? Just put the pump on a hill, that kind of thing, right? That could have happened. But again, I don't see it listed anywhere where the flow rate limitation is here. But if that is the case, and it really is just limited to 130, then we don't need two big pipes going into it. We can get this pipe, we can break this off, slap another pump right here, and then kind of redirect this big pipe to go into that pump instead, and then we'll have 3 pumps pumping into here. And if that's the case, then that will definitely give us the capacity that we need to hit that, right? So we can just kind of slide everything over. This one can pump into there, this one can pump into a different one, and then we've got this extra pipe that's just kind of whatever, filling in the gap. So let me know, where are you seeing this? I'll respond to your comment too, but for anyone else out there who might be watching this video, please, by all means, give me the official source for that, okay? So anyway, if I go back, the topic we're on is water, right? Is over here. There's going to be some water and stuff we can do here. So if I take a look at this, we're currently pumping out about 50 or so-ish. It kind of fluctuates, of course, and it goes through this little pipe right here, this little pump right here. Now, if you're correct, then this big pipe is all we need on this. We don't need to add anything else to this ever, right? And then that flows into this reservoir, which can then maximum flow rate pump out of this into here, okay? So if you're correct about this, and I'm just going to assume that you are, right? If we assume that you are, then at most, we can only do 2 pumping stations out of one of these, because there's no reason to do 3 since I only have 2 connections anyway, right? So I could do something like this and then just add, you know, access points over here. As we make a new neighborhood over here, I would now have access to water on that side too, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this big pumping station right here across the street, like that. And then we're going to run a big pipe from here into there. And then that would give us our maximum out, which doesn't make any sense, because if it's 130, and then you only have 2 pipes, and then it can handle, well, I guess this is a small one, isn't it? Yeah. This is a small treatment center, so it's not the big one. And so its capacity that it can handle, which I'm going to regret this. I said I was going to regret it too. I should have made a big one. The small one can handle 120. All right, so we're actually kind of at our limit. There's no reason to do this even, because this thing can't process enough water anyway, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing here. So I probably, again, I'm going to regret going small when I should have went big. And so instead of doing all of that, because it doesn't look like that's even going to be necessary, let's get rid of this walking path right here. What we'll do instead is we're just going to take a, let's do like a small water tower or something. How about a big water? Can I do a big water tower? Like, can I put it right here? Let me do a water tower right here. That'd be cool. No? I could do it right here, I guess. Yeah, so we put like a little water tower. This is fine. Right next to the store here. No big deal. And then what we'll do is I suppose we could go for a small pumping station. And then we could take the small pumping station and put a medium pipe through it, right? So we could say small pumping station. And then what I want to do is I want to come off of the reservoir so that there's an additional storage there. So if I place a small pumping station, let's say right here. Let's say let's flip it over right there. All right, so let's say we put this right here. We should now be able to go with a medium pipe through there. And then this medium pipe can go into the water tower. And then we will use the water tower's gravity to pump it into there. Okay? And that will be our water setup for this area so that these guys can you know, stay healthy and all that. Then we need sewage as well. Now we should have a connection right there. There's a connection, but I kind of need another connection. I want another one. So maybe if I can find the elevation, it's gonna work here. 7. So this is really low, 3 point whatever, right? And then if I keep the measurement tool up, if I'm going into like this area here, we're at 4 or so, right? That's pretty low. So we would want this to be higher than that and also accessible. So it's got to be both in there and accessible. So it'd be about here. That's 4.92. So we'll add that there. And then from the 4.92, we can have this pipe feed into there. And that gives us extra connections here for us to connect into wherever the sewage is going to be connected. And then from that, we take a sewage tank that's over here. Now, it's going to be lower than that switch, so we're still going to need a pump. But as long as I'm hitting all these new buildings, I'm okay with it. So we'll add this to be about here, I guess. It should be hitting all the new buildings. Yeah, it needs to hit those homes over there, so it's going to be like this. But it has to be over here. So we're going to place it right here. Just like that. And then we'll take a medium, and then we're going to have a pump. So we'll say a 5 meter pump should be acceptable. And that 5 meter pump needs to be higher than this. So this is at around just under 5. So if I place this one in here, it needs to be a place that is over 5. So this is over 5 right here. So if I place it here, it might get in the way of a new water, but I guess that doesn't matter because this is the maximum flow through that anyway. So this is at 5, right at 5. So we'll place one there. Yeah, and I'm going to flip this over and place another one here. Wow. Okay, maybe I'm not. I guess I'm not. I want to have 2 of these. So I have 2 connection points. So I guess we'll put it right here. And then we need the connectors there and there. Should be fine. All right. So our sewage, we'll take a medium pipe into there because this is going to handle, you know, a few hundred people. And I might actually place some housing here too. So a few hundred people. And then you will just take your medium pipe and pop it into here. At least you should. It says there's infrastructure in the way, which doesn't make any sense considering it's underground. Oh, the underground infrastructure is in the way. Well, now it's all coming together, isn't it? We will dip it low. But by dipping it low, we might be messing up where it's coming from here, right? So, yeah, that's the problem. So we have to position that. That's not what I wanted to do. I wish there was an undo feature in this game. That's unfortunate indeed. Is there any way I could get this to go underneath this and then maybe can you go above it? Like, this is a really weird way of doing it. It makes 0 sense to me. But hear me out. If it connects, then why not, right? If it works, as long as I can get this other one to go in there, which I may not be able to, but if I do that and then this, again, it looks squirrely as hell, but as long as it fits, that's kind of all that matters, right? So we'll let that exist, as squirrely as it is. And then the medium flow pipe, I need to redo that. So this needs to go in there. Now, thankfully, we have a pump generating pressure this time, so this pipe can go under like that and then up like that. No big deal. And submit. So there's going to be our sewage and water hookups for these houses because they're not going to be able to get all the drinking and things that they need here. We're overloaded on this childcare area, which is bad. Despite being overloaded, overall our criminality is dropping, but we're definitely overloaded here and we need to do something about that. One thing we could do about it, of course, is just to have this building working, but we won't have all the resources for it just yet. So we'll have to, take care of that. But I guess this building could probably provide that. And so could we could get another water truck in here too, which is probably doable. So why don't we grab another water truck? Go like that. Let's go ahead and let this finish. It's just work days. So we'll go ahead and let that finish. And then once it's done, we'll take some kids out of this building and bring them into this one. You can see, though, our capacity in this building is much higher when we get highly educated people in here. So it's pretty important to get, as many people as possible, as many people as possible learning and getting themselves a higher education. So we're going to let this building finish. This trash will take care of both of these buildings just fine. I'm thinking we're probably going to need another garbage over in this area, and we can probably put it right here. I'll just put one of these right behind this building like that. Should be okay. Make sure we do that. And then let's make sure we get all of our labor. All of our stuff needs to get built here, right? So we want to have all of this stuff, as crazy as it is. We want to have all these things being built right now. And we'll get all of our labor options brought in here too. Cernikova labor as well. Just kind of get everybody involved in these. And then the helicopters can come over and help. I think that's probably fine. Help with whatever you can help with. As long as we're taking care of these kids, right? Are we out of fuel again? We are indeed. And so this becomes the part where we take this, cancel, and we say, no helicopters, you're staying right here. And you know what? So are you guys. We're just going to ground the helicopters for now because we can't handle it. As soon as we run out of fuel, that's that. All right. So orphanage is here. Let's limit to 57% loyalty. And then this distribution office will manage the resources for the orphanage. It's right here. And let's keep it 60% full. All right. It's going to take a bit for us to get those amenities in that building, as well as the drinking water not being done. So we're going to need to do that too. Let's make sure that you know where your drinking water is. Yeah, you should be able to bring drinking water to that building, although I'm not seeing you actually doing it. You're just kind of chilling here in the building rather than bringing the water, which is perfectly good and ready to export, but you're not doing it. So that's a little weird. This building should be demanding water. It doesn't have any water, so this is where the water truck kicks in and does it. I can't make a water truck do this unless I make it go to a road depot instead. It's like I could do this, right? And then once I'm taking it to a road depot, I could say, hey, load water and bring to this building, right? And then unload there. And then that's your loop, right? I could make that happen. So I guess, but the technical service office is supposed to be handling that automated. So maybe it's just taking a bit for it to like register that there's a job that's been added here. I gotta say, the fact that this little segment right here is gravel is a little bit annoying, but I'm not gonna change it yet. All right, so we've now delivered the water. Fantastic. And now we have 34 out of 148. So now let's go take this building and we're going to say, hey, relocate a bunch of these kids over here. So now we have a suitable education in both of these buildings. And we should hopefully start to see the loyalty go up. I need to adjust propaganda settings and all that for these. So let me take a look at what my settings are for the other ones, because some of these are doing really well. Not you. Wow. What is happening here? Jeez, the number of tutors is dropping like a tank, man. Dropping like a rock, I guess. Let's take a few kids out of here and we'll bring them over here. Yep, bring them over here. I mean, I don't want to overload this one, but we're about to. And we're still missing supplies on this one because of the meat, but that's pretty crazy how that was doing really poorly. Yeah, all of our orphanages are doing bad again. it's just really difficult to keep enough tutors in there, especially with so little education. And this building here, I you know, again, I can't explain why it's less than a 1-to-1 ratio. Like I don't understand this. I guess it's not. It's more than 1-to-1, but it's barely more than 1-to-1. 32 people teaching 38 people. I don't understand that. But it's like, what is the little tiny building an apprenticeship program? Like, where, you know, is it like a big law firm where, you know, the partner hires a single associate, that kind of thing? Like, what is this? I don't understand. 49, right, in the medical university, 49 professors can have 225. That seems a little bit more better. It seems better, but it's still not great, you know? And these are all highly educated people. The only thing I can think of is that it might have something to do with their happiness or their loyalty or something, right? Like maybe that's the tipping point. So here we have 30 people and the capacity is 58. And if I take a look at my party officials, you know, they're in the, like this guy here, right? He's 33% happiness, 72 loyalty. There's some criminality in some of these guys too. So I'm wondering if the criminality is playing a role in reducing their effectiveness as well. Because, I mean, with 31 tutors, I would think with 31 tutors, we could handle more than 109 kids. That's like 3 kids per adult. I don't know if you've ever been to a daycare service or, you know, anything like that in the United States, but if a daycare is doing 3 children per adult, they're losing money. I mean, you got to do more than that. It's usually like around 1 to 5, 1 to 6. So I don't know what's going on there. I know there's like a law that limits that, but everyone I've went to, it seems like there's, you know, they'll have 3 adults in a room with 12 kids, and it seems like, you know, they're still got capacity for more. So in any case, we've expanded some things. We got done with the collapsed conveyor engine. That's been restored to normal. We've upgraded our power. You saw that in the time lapse as well. Just take a look at the wattage here. Maxing out both lines, bringing that full, you know, 15 to 19 megawatt into both of these as possible, and then sending it out over here. And, you know, we get 14 hitting this point, which is pretty dang good. We're at 13 at the border, right? So we're able to export a lot of power here. It's looking pretty good. And then we've got the other connections too, because that's not even the maximum we can do, right? We have these other connections. So some of the power from this is going into this and getting sent over to steel. And then the other one is going to be an extra export. And so we had the extra connector here running along this point into this switch. And this switch has been here a while. And what we want to do with this and the switch and everything is we want to export power. Now, we could bring it all the way over to Tabavina. We could. It would be more expensive to do so, but we could do it. Or what we could do is we can build one of these, a foreign power connection. And we have a license. This is the same thing as the other one. We could have a license to put it over here, right? Well, you can see we've already built one sitting right here. And I have the ability to build another if I wanted to. And the maximum capacity on these, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm hoping it's the same. It is 18 megawatts. So we have the ability to send even more power to the border through that connector that we built a long time ago. And the cool thing about the border connections is that they don't need repaired. They don't go bad, right? There's no repair status on these. So it works just like the actual border connection. So what we can do is I'm going to grab the big megawatt, 18 megawatt here. And we certainly don't need to have 18 megawatts, but I feel like it's one of those things where why not? Because like later on, we can always add power from the other power station, and I can, you know, bring this, like there's one connection right here. There's one thing left. I could just take any excess power, go underground and add like, you know, an extra 6 or 7 to this, right? And so anyway, I could take this and I can bring it all the way over. I was thinking of going over the mountain here because it doesn't matter. Our vehicles don't need to get up here to build it. They just need access at the closest possible point of the project, which would be here. So as long as they can get to here, they can build the whole thing. So I was thinking of just going over the mountain with this in a straight line. It's the cheapest point. The cheapest way to do it is always in a straight line. Or, right, we could always kind of game it a little bit where we kind of do one of these numbers. And, you know, I could do that where we get just a little bit of extra distance out of every pole. It wouldn't be in a completely straight line unless I looked at it from this angle, maybe. Could do it like this and just get that little extra distance each time. So something like that. I curved it a little bit. I was going in a straight line, but it was going to take me an extra pole. So kind of curved it just a little bit here, and now I have one less pole than I would have had. So you could just have this come all the way above the mountain here like this, and bring it in there. And that's totally doable, and I'm open to that. I would think, though, I think, though, just to make this look a little better, and because we're eventually going to have stuff over here, what I think I'd rather do is cancel the wire right there, and in this position, assuming it's possible, I want a high voltage switch to come in here, like over in this area. It'd be nice to have this be on flat ground, and I don't think I have the equipment to make this happen. Oh, I do. That's very nice. Cool. So we'll have this little switch popped in over here. All right, and what that will do, well, yeah. I think we'll do it like that. What that will do is it gives me a way to tap into it and provide power over here. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do that. And, you know, to actually build this thing and to provide fire coverage and all that nonsense, we will need the road to be laid in, and I can't do that because of not having excavators in the area. Yep. So that's going to be a bit, but we can just have helicopters do it for now. I'm all right with that. So all the helicopters will handle this. I realize I just said we're out of fuel, but hey, this is profit. We're gonna profit from this. You know, actually, here's what we'll do instead. Let's grab the helicopter office here, and we'll just cancel this one. All right. Now they'll bring labor, and the office over there will take care of it still. But the one that's nearby on the other fuel source, they will not. And we have access to that from this side, so the cars can get there. All right, and then we can send Cernikova labor in on that side, and on this side too. We can just have Cernikova's labor do that, as well as a little bit for Charlevinsk. Okay, so I think I've showed you pretty much everything. We clearly have way more children than I can possibly handle. I mean, the orphanage situation is kind of ridiculous in the game. I do very much wish... I don't want to say it's imbalanced, because that just sounds like, oh, Charlie can't handle it, so he's going to say the game's imbalanced. But I question just how many orphans would a society of 26,000 population have, right? Do you think... And I could be completely off base here. I don't know. I'm looking for your comments, I guess. Do you think it's reasonable for there to be 800 orphans, let's say, in a town that's got 26,000 people, right? And when I say orphans, I'm not saying that they're adults that grew up as orphans, right? They're adults. Those are adults now. They're in housing. I'm talking about actual adolescent minors who are currently orphans and need taken care of in an orphanage. 800 kids in a population of 26,000. I'm questioning that. I feel like that's a little high. But, like I said, could be completely off base. Could have no idea what I'm talking about. Would love to have you tell me I'm wrong. You guys are usually pretty good about that, telling me I'm wrong. So I welcome it. There you go. And yeah, we should have a new distribution office too, right? Did it build? Right here, yeah. So a brand new one here, because I'm out of connections everywhere else. So I have a brand new one here. And this one here will just help us with, again, just trying to keep up with everything that's going on, keeping everything in stock. We've got everything we need except for fabric to make this happen. We simply need workers here now. So I could get a bus, right? Like a single bus to just take, I guess it'd be 2 buses, right? Like a 2 microbus setup. We could do, I think a 2 microbus setup would be all right. Maybe even a 3 microbus setup, you know? Now, you know, if we're going to do 3 of these, why don't we just do 3 of these instead? You know? Just get it over with. I'm going to do 3 of these little buses. And I'll set it up for the next video to where we have some labor in these. They're going to be going over to wherever they can get workers. This seems like a reasonable place. It's pretty close by. We can also get like maybe one of them. We could do this. We could say one of those buses goes to this stop and gets them. The other bus goes to this stop and gets them. The other bus goes to, you know, this stop and gets them. And they all just kind of run themselves all into here to get 30 workers, right? Because we could have other vehicles come on over here to get themselves repaired, right? I mean, that's, and we also have a working office range, so we're gonna want to, you know, be able to go wherever we need to go. And see right there, boom, we've got vehicles in here that are looking to get repaired, right? So they're not gonna go to waste. So I think that's probably what we should do. And then on top of that, the train needs fixed. And this train is so important. So I need to have a lot of people in here. So if that ends up leading us to, you know, having buses come all the way out here and not being able to deliver anybody, then so be it, you know. But I think it's going to be pretty dang important. All right. So I think that's it for today. We've done a lot of stuff here. We're still working on the pipeline. If you want one real quick update on the pipeline so you can see where that's going, you know, still needs work, but it's happening. They're getting things in. The pipes are coming along. There's lots of steel being committed to this, right? And then this doesn't need done yet because this is just the intake for oil, bringing it into the system. So, and that's not going to happen until we get, you know, all that stuff working as well. This is going to get shut down pretty soon. So I imagine we should just start, we probably should just start buying fuel again. I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about having to buy fuel again. Let's get rid of the wood. Wood cutting post is actually important there. Technical services can get their own gas. So I'm going to remove technical services from this list. And I'm going to have these guys, as much as I hate it, I'm going to have these guys going to the border. And they're going to be allowed to buy fuel at the border. Like this. I'm not sure what happened to the window. There it goes. They're going to be allowed to buy fuel at the border. And then you guys probably should do the same thing with this one. Let's find the border connection. If it's not there already, then we'll go to something like a gravel quarry. That's pretty important. Technical services. These guys can always go and repair, get their own gas. These guys are always capable of doing that. They can go to gas stations while they're out on the road. And so we'll let them do that. So we'll just say we want you to load gas from the border. All right. So that should, albeit it'll take a little bit extra time, but if they need to refuel someplace and there's no fuel available here, then they'll go and do what they need to do. I don't like it, but they'll go do what they need to do. So you look at the capacity here. I like this. This is better, right? 32 people can handle 134. That's a lot better, right? We're just trying to hit the criminality as much as possible. So we need more orphanages, man. Jeez. So 132. Like how many orphans do we have right now? We have. Does it actually tell us anywhere? Prisoners not working. 133. Wow. You know, we should get more prison buses too, shouldn't we? Hey, maybe the prison buses can just bring labor over there. You know, you can have the prisoners working on cars. I like that idea too. You know, let's get some prison buses too. Come over here, and we'll buy prison bus. 10, 13. I like this. Let's do the 13s. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And we'll get a couple prison buses looping into the different repair centers and stuff so we can have it too. We got 2 people working in here now. We can start getting repairs done to any vehicle that wants to come on in here and get those repairs, all right, at this point. So we're good. And then also people are working there from the cars. They're driving here, right? That's how they're getting to work. All right, now I'm done. I think. Just one more turn. No, I'm kidding. We're done. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.